We are a couple minutes late, sorry, but here we are.
Hi.
We made it.
Shadows. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I'm
That's just
standing right there.
Huh?
Standing in front of the light.
There we go.
I'm Scott Dickerson. We're live on the Alaskan Gypsy Life YouTube channel, and we're on the Alaskan Gypsy right now here in the Wrangell Harbor in Wrangell, Alaska. We were in the shipyard for 4 months, something like that, saving this boat from corrosion death. And hi, William. And now we are on the boat, living on the boat in the water, and we've been doing sea trials and trying to get ready for a big trip across the Gulf of Alaska here in December. It's December 1st, and we've been doing lots of sea trials, working out lots of kinks in the systems. Today I'm working on...
I'm Audrey. And we have been on the water for almost 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks ago on Thursday, so coming up, if you guys were able to tune in for our live there, it was a little chaotic and a little crazy. Thank you for being there with us, and thank you for sticking with us as we've transitioning into sea trials and just having a great time despite some startling difficulties. But we're back in Wrangell now. I'm going to check in on the comments while Scott fills you in. I just wanted to say hi and welcome.
I've been working on the hydraulic system today for the autopilot, trying to get the autopilot going. Yesterday was the hydraulic system for the anchor winch, and still got a lot of things still to work on. Have another anchor winch I haven't even looked at. One of the water tanks for our fresh water is got the cap lid off it, the inspection plate, and we need to get fuel, change the oil on the generator, and there's a whole bunch of things, and I haven't even really walked around the boat and tried to even think of everything, but there's just a lot of things that still need attention before we're really seaworthy and ready to get out into open ocean and make what usually amounts to about a 4-day nonstop run, if the weather allows for it, across the Gulf. So
yeah, I'm gonna just jump in on the comments. Thank you, Deb.
we got somebody pulling up right in front of us. Let's look at them.
Focus on the process. It'll all work. Yeah, it's all in the flow. We're just gonna take one step at a time, one day at a time, and see where we end up, how we end up. So, yeah, thank you for that reminder. And then hi, Joe. Thanks for jumping on from Western Illinois. William, so proud of all the work you have completed. Yeah, me too. You're amazing. Joe, 3.5 hours southwest of Chicago. Hello, William from Idaho. Will we put up a large Christmas tree? You know what? That is something I totally envision, and put Christmas lights up on the mast and just really embrace the holiday with the kids. That's, fingers crossed, what'll happen. There's a chance we won't be able to bring the boat up, and I don't know if we'll decorate it if we're gonna leave it here when we go up there for Christmas. Probably not.
No.
So that's a no. Anyway, you got your first snow. Awesome. Yeah, we've just been sea trialing it up. Some of the obstacles that we've ran into so far have been the hydraulics. Have taken a few hours. The first time we went to go hunting on our first sea trial, we planned to hunt for most of the day, but the anchor stopped working or something happened, and it took like 3 or 4 hours to fix it. So then we only went hunting for about 2 hours. And I was kind of nervous about it because where we were didn't feel like a solid anchorage for me. It was obviously not my call, but the paddle boarding thing and the current and everything, like, it's gotta all just be really lined up for me to feel really good about it. So anyhow, our last few days where we were able to do some more sea trialing and hunting and gathering There were some cranberries we got to snack on. The conditions were absolutely perfect for paddleboarding for me. So that was amazing. Oh, thanks, Deb. That was such a cool experience. Like, we just feel so blessed that in our sea trials we get to like live the dream. You know, we've had many pinch me moments over the last 10 days of waiting for the owners to come back and kick us off their boat. And just kind of lots of moments already where it's like, oh, this is it. This is happening. This is us living it already, even though now we're back in town. I'm grateful that the town we're in is Wrangell. What a blessing. I got to share Reiki again last night and have another appointment scheduled tonight and to go for a lap swim. So, you know, and then doing the other things to prepare to get out of here. Got our new Starlink in the mail today. Scott's working on the autopilot. All right, Joe. Thank you. Enjoy your time with your evening and your dinner. Good night. How are you feeling?
Got a lot to do.
Yeah. A lot on your mind.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share with the viewers? I'll ask you a few questions and then maybe we'll cut this short unless we get some good questions out there. What do you think the chances of leaving Wrangell this week are?
We can leave anytime.
Okay.
There
we have it.
How ready we are. So
yeah,
it depends on the weather forecast, and I don't know. There's just a few things that there's a lot of things I'll try and address, and some of them I will get to, some of them I won't. But some are more mission critical, some are less. It would be really really nice to have a functioning autopilot, and I think that I'll probably get that sorted out today. And I'm not sure what I'll tackle after that. Might work on the heat system. Just got going a few days ago. The central boiler, it's got a Webasto hydronic heat system on board that wasn't working for many years, and so it's been a big process of flushing out the old lines. I had to replace a whole bunch of the main lines for the hot water system. They had corroded through the copper and were plugged with corrosion. So I replaced some of those and then did a major flush. And then the boiler actually started up and has been running well. It's got registers, 9 of them, I think, or 8 of them spread throughout the boat. And they're basically all working at this point. But it was that was about 2 or 3 days of working on that heat system, and pretty surprised that it actually is working as good as it is, considering that
it's really warm when it's on.
It had been neglected probably for I think it probably hadn't run for maybe 10 years or something. So that one is I just have water in it right now, so it needs to get got a bunch of antifreeze yesterday to put into it for hopefully long-term function on that, and corrosion protection and freeze protection. But and then the deck, I just got a lot of a mess on the deck, and my radar is barely working. It functions in close, but I'm looking at maybe installing a new used radar system. Dave's Welding has one that they took out of a boat, but I'm not sure if all the parts are there. I just went and looked at it. It's a box full of cords and connectors and display units and stuff, and may or may not work. But I didn't see the radar dome, which is one of the things that I'm pretty sure I need to update this 90s radar system into something modern. But that's almost mission critical, but not quite. This one's working when we're up really close to things.
Better than not working.
The depth finders are working. The helm is working. The core engine instruments are working. I don't have any bilge high water alarms, or don't think I have a raw water flow alarm for engine coolant. But probably would leave town without those. So those are just the things. But every time I walk around the boat, I think of 100 more things I need to do, and mostly just try and focus on the one step after another, the next step to try and keep things moving.
Yeah, you're good at that. That's for sure.
There's people outside.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. We're not used to hearing noise outside of the boat lately. Okay, so I do want to share. I'm gonna get into these comments here in a second, but it's December 1st, and we're launching this live right now. And we shared a video earlier today because we literally have 18 days to make it up to Prince William Sound, passing the Inside Passage through Southeast Alaska and crossing the Gulf of Alaska into Prince William Sound, and then across Prince William Sound, and then across Prince William Sound again. And anyhow, there's a lot of things that need to line up really, really, really well in order for that to even happen. But we're working towards it, and we're hoping for it, and we're open to it, and we're sharing the journey with you guys. So day 1, December 1st of our 18 days. Can we make it? Will we make it? How will we make it? I mean, we have to get there. Whether it's by boat or we leave the boat and get on the airplane, we've got to get up there. We've got kid time coming up. So, and Christmas and family stuff to enjoy. But we'd really like to be able to have our home there with us. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. All right, as far as the comments, okay, Deb's wondering what our biggest concern is.
I don't know, Deb. Not sure what the biggest concern is.
Yeah, I don't know that Scott thinks about concerns. He's more like practical about things. But I usually can come up with things a million a minute if I need, but I try not to. I don't really have like a big concern, but if there was a big concern, I think it would be having like an engine issue out in the open when the weather came in, or really anywhere when the weather came in. It's just kind of a snotty time of year. December feels moody. Just watching the weather. We lived remote last year. Across the bay from Homer, in a really beautiful little spot, and it had its own little weather system in there. But we watched the weather quite a bit because getting across to Homer was something we did frequently. And I mean, if anyone watches the weather in Alaska or is boated in Alaska, like winter is just not optimal boating season. Most people don't do it. So anyhow, there's that. That's my big like concern. I don't know. It's more like try not to focus on that and just kind of like take one step at a time and see what happens. So, okay. Well, I'm chilly right now. I should put this big jacket back on.
Engine failure and running aground are probably the main issues of concern. And as far as the engine is, it's just maintenance, fuel, oil. Just change the oil on it, change the oil filters. I just changed the fuel filters on it. And I've been monitoring it pretty close. Its temperatures, its raw water, coolant flow, oil pressure, oil consumption, which has been none so far. And that's kind of the main thing. And then so if your engine fails, then it's a matter of which way you're drifting. Are you drifting towards friendly shores or offshore, which could be great. If you're getting blown offshore, you're not at risk of running into land where you don't want to be. And then your next thing for the rescue is, depending on the conditions, dropping your anchor and hopefully being able to anchor before you run aground and lose your ship at sea. So now that means the importance of the anchor is not just for spending the night, it's also for saving you if you're adrift towards rough shores or something. So the Alaskan Gypsy actually has 2 anchor drum style winches, and one of them is working great, and once the hydraulics working, that was yesterday's project, is hopefully finishing off that part of the hydraulic system that was giving me a little bit of issue. It wouldn't turn on. Figured out what the issue was. It was a little pilot solenoid compensator thing that I don't really know anything about, but it was not moving freely, and it's moving freely now. So the hydraulics are switching on as they should, but only one of the anchor drum winches is operational. The other one the valve needs to be switched from what's called closed center or open center to closed center, which my understanding is I just need the right size bolt to thread in, but it's some kind of crazy British fine thread bolt that's unlikely available here in town. So I should have ordered that months ago, but at this point I have one working anchor system, which is pretty good. I would like to have two when we leave, but may just end up having one, and that's okay. But I'll make an effort to get that second one working before we go, hopefully. So that's kind of the solution to the engine failure, and then of course calling for help. The challenge, one of the big challenges of traveling this time of year is the weather tends to be more quickly moving and violent, and the storms tend to pass a little bit faster and with more velocity, and there's less daylight and there's less other boater traffic out there. So you have less likelihood of a nearby rescue if you needed towed or needed rescued. So those are kind of the main concerns, I guess. But as long as the engine keeps running, it's really just dodging weather systems and making the runs from one sheltered anchorage to another is really the strategy. And the forecasting is a good guess, and then pay attention and don't try and push the windows too hard. Give enough leeway to where if things don't go right, you're not right back into the next storm cycle. So, but with 18 days, we're not going to have a whole lot of leeway. The critical part of the trip is probably about 4 days, and it could be broken into two sections pretty easily. So, two-day weather windows would be totally adequate, but that's quite a bit to ask for this time of year. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then I'm not sure I mentioned it, but like leaving the boat in Juneau or something like that is an option if we're not able to.
Not a very good option. I don't want to leave the boat down here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. And we'll see how it goes. Do you think you'll ever put your boat in at the Great Lakes? Probably not. You mentioned it's cold inside. What do you use to keep dry and warm inside? Well, right now, lots of layers and blankets. When Scott's running the furnace, or we can run the electric heaters, then it's plenty warm, sometimes too warm. So the trick is just to be adaptable and be willing to layer up and be willing to take your clothes off if you need to as well. Terry, thank you.
We have a diesel forced air heater, it's hydronic, so water. The diesel heater heats water that gets pumped around the boat, and then these basically radiators with fans blow air across those registers, they're called. And so that works. It requires 110 volt power to operate, so we either need to run the inverter or a generator to operate that, and it taxes the batteries pretty badly, so don't really run it without the generator or the main running when we're out cruising. And we just have a couple days of using that system, so we're just getting used to learning how it works. But it works very well so far. And one of my projects is to flush it one more time and fill it with the antifreeze solution to protect it long term. But we also use little electric heaters. When the generator's going, we can run several small electric heaters. And when the main is running, we can run one or two small electric heaters fine off of its alternators. So those are options. And also, either the generator or the main engine also kind of heats the boat up a little bit too, just from the radiant heat from the exhaust and the engine itself. So hasn't been very cold yet, honestly. We've just been getting barely down into freezing temperatures. But we want to get the boat ready for single digits kind of weather up in Prince William Sound, probably in December. So
yeah. Watching from, oh, thank you, Terry. I love watching you guys. Thank you for sharing all that you do. You're welcome. Working to be able to be, I think, more consistent now, which feels good. Grateful that Starlink came in the mail today. Hello, Mountain Dreamer from Ketchikan. Thank you for the safe journey wishes. And William, just take things one at a time. You have proven, Scott, that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to.
In 18 days?
Mhm.
I'm glad it's not that cold here, Paul. Is that Paul? Yeah, we're enjoying the 40-degree weather. Although it's been in the 30s quite a bit, but
Yeah.
pretty mild considering we're in Alaska.
Thank you, Deb, for all the support. Appreciate that. All the positive energy and good vibes out there. Have we been able to test the skiff? We actually
No. Well, we used it in Ketchikan, but we haven't raised and lowered it or anything here yet. So
yeah,
it hasn't been tested out.
Right.
As far as launching and retrieving it, but
yeah, I was kind of hoping to do that. I'm personally hoping to do that before we go. Anything else?
Well, let's give them a little tour outside. Take you guys outside. You can see the view. And then I'm gonna get back to work. We're talking about trying to cross the Gulf of Alaska in winter on this boat that just came out of the shipyard. I'll give you a little look around. It's gonna get dark here soon. AK Flyer, we're almost ready other than look at a boat. We got stuff all over. Got 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid and some drinking water. I got a crane up there on the deck. Still have a partial drum of
cranes for sale.
Hydraulic fluid. But pretty nice evening. Deb, it's from Ketchikan to Ketchikan to Homer is about 1,000 miles, so we're probably looking at about 800 miles or something like that. But yeah, we have hunting rifles and bear protection handguns. So there she is sitting in the harbor in Wrangell. We've spent about I don't know, 8 nights on board, away from the harbor now. Some really nice scenes. Had some northern lights. Really a good northern lights show one night, and the moon out, and drug anchor a little bit last night actually, and a little bit of wind, which is surprising because we were on a muddy bottom. But here's the little skiff. It's kind of a funny little fiberglass thing. Got quite the V bottom in the bow. Can see the rudder and the prop down there. Does it look ready to cross the Gulf? No, definitely not, but we'll work on tidying it up. Pretty nice sunset going on. 4 o'clock sunset. Not even 4 o'clock yet. Yeah, it's the time of year where it gets dark fast. Takes a long time to get light and it gets dark fast, so not very many daylight hours, but that's why I'd like to get the new radar on board before we leave. That would be nice. Here's all the antifreeze for the boiler system and my old flush setup. Okay, well, I'm gonna get back to work.
Yeah, me too. Gotta get ready for a Reiki appointment.
I'm gonna try and get my autopilot working. I wasn't able to find a new coupling for the autopilot motor to the pump, unfortunately. It's I think what is called a Lovejoy spider coupling, 5/16 shaft. Not available in the town of Wrangell that I could find. So I brought a spare autopilot pump and motor from a different system I had up in Homer I brought with me down here. And I think it's actually going to be able to adapt onto this old ComNav system. And So I might be able to swap it out and get it working. So that's what I'm going to try next. I think I need to go to the hardware store again to get probably a bunch of fittings to fit the copper onto this new pump. But I should probably also test the pump out before I do that and see if it actually works. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to do right now. So
thank you guys for all your well wishes and kind comments and support. It's like a halo. Appreciate you so much.
Goodbye. Lovejoy is the old name in couplers. Yeah, funny. I'd never heard of it.
I
But
know somebody with the last name Lovejoy in Anchorage.